Hi, I'm Dr. Marty Furlong. I'm doing a live presentation here from Metris Natural Healing Center in Oakdale, Minnesota. So we do these weekly with different practitioners in our clinic, all the way from our health coaches to other healthcare practitioners, Chelsea and myself, Brandy, and our health coaches. And they definitely offer different perspectives of healthcare, which hopefully, improves your life. Now, what we encourage for you to do is submit any of your questions you might have into info@nutritionchiropractic.com. And we take all these questions, we compile them, and then the practitioners actually pick out questions that they really want to answer. And so I got a couple great ones I'd like to start with this week, all right? So this is a great question. What are the most common organs under stress? Okay, that's interesting. So what we do in this clinic is we actually not diagnosing, we're not saying this organ's healthy or this one's sick, but we're actually testing organs to see what organs feel stress. Now, why is that important? Because when an organ feels stress, do you expect it to work better or worse? Okay, and so what you want to do is you want to have organs that are not under stress, so then they can just put all their energy and resources into keeping you healthy. So getting stress off organs is important. So which organs are under stress is really where we start. Now the second question we deal with, do we recommend coffee enemas? Okay, how do these two correlate? Well, we're going to talk about that today just a little bit. Okay, I'd like to start up again. I'm Dr. Furlong. You're at Metris Natural Healing Center. And what we're going to start with, the most common organs under stress that I see in practice is organs of detoxification. And what does that mean? So the way the body works is we collect stuff into our system through what we eat, breathe, and drink, and it all comes in the body. And what the body should do is filter all this, and then it actually goes more centrally. Think of digestive tract. After it's all been filtered, and then it finally leaves the body, think about like bowel, bladder, involvement. And so we want to make sure that system or those systems of detoxification are working phenomenally. That's how you keep high levels of health. Now, those organs that are most commonly seen under stress, too much toxins pounding through them, include the liver, probably the number one filtering organ we have, the kidneys, they help filter a ton out of us, and our bowel. Those are like three of the biggest ones we have. Now, how do we get toxins into us? Like, what are the most common organs? Those three are the three most common organs. But how do we get toxins in here in the first place? It's what we eat, breathe, and drink, okay? So, you ever drive down the street and your window's open and you can actually smell, in my case, I can actually taste what yards have been chemically treated? I mean, that's in the air, and we actually breathe this in, and our body has to detoxify from it. That's why we want your liver, your kidneys, and your bowel working great. Okay, now, sometimes it's what we drink. So I think our drinking water, we talk about this in our workshops, that there's two chemicals in almost every drinking water in Minnesota at least, and that would be chlorine, and kind of necessary evil to keep that system working great, but fluoride, and fluoride is actually very toxic to us, and those are put into our water supply, and our organs of detoxification have to try to pull it out so it doesn't poison us, okay? Now, what we eat. Now, this is a massive one because what's put into our food purposely and not purposely is significant to this body. A real food that's grown organically, if you think that way, without additives of any type, not highly processed, should actually feed these organs and support detoxification. So think of like a beet. A beet, like that red thing that you pull out of the garden and you can eat now, Beets have this thing called betaine, and that's a natural liver detoxifier. So an old wives' tale says eat one large beet a day for constipation. There's actually some science behind that. And so that's what we look for to detoxify an organ is natural whole foods. Now, how do we get these toxins in there through our food? Well, think they harvest a field of grain, and now they want to process it, and it comes up all gray looking and pasty looking. That's not very appealing to the general public, so they'll bleach it literally with chlorine, the wheat product, let's say, bleach it so it looks white. That's why you have white bread, white buns, things like that. But what it really is taking a whole food product and altering it so it looks more appealing. Now, some of the things, okay, one of the offices I was in one time across the street was a Subway sandwich shop, which I loved because I could run over there if I was in a pinch, grab something to eat, I'd grab a salad. Till one day I read in the paper, it said Subway sandwiches have now decided not to dye their yellow peppers yellow anymore. It said there's a yellow dye added to my vegetables, I didn't even know it. So we get to introduce all these different toxins through preservatives, colorings, flavor enhancers, pesticides. You know, all this stuff is added to our food stock. We don't even know it, and we ingest it. Your liver, kidney, and bowel now have to try to detoxify you. These organs can become overburdened, and literally think of it as filling up, and now it starts spilling over. So there's secondary organs of detoxification that try to help out. Things like your lungs. That's actually, think of carbon monoxide or dioxide, that comes out. Well, the lungs will try to detoxify other things too if they're pushed hard enough. And then you'll see people with asthma, reactive airway. They'll have a constant cough and congestion. That's a sign that the primary organs of detoxification aren't doing their job in many cases. Sinuses, full and congested all the time, runny nose, running down the back of your throat. That's a sign that these sinuses have now taken on the toxic load of these overburdened organs again. Some people, their skin develops rashes. Probably the biggest organ of our body is your skin, and it's a secondary detoxifier. Sweating out everything is a really good thing, but if the organs aren't doing their job, then what can happen is that the skin tries to take over, and then we'll see rashes and boils and things like that starting to develop. Now, the typical model of healthcare is to treat these things acutely with lots of steroid sprays, spray them up your nose, inhale them, eat them, or put steroid cream all over you, and that actually makes the organs of detoxification sicker. They'll suppress symptoms and actually increase your toxicity level. So our advice is let's detoxify those organs, okay? And that's what we do with nutrition response testing. We get to find which organs are under stress, the exact cause of the stress, and what it would take to relieve that stress, that organ. Okay. Now, that's topic number 1, okay? Topic number 2 was, do we recommend coffee enemas? And how does that even fit in this discussion? It's a perfect groove into this discussion. Coffee enemas, yes, I would recommend it. Now, the truth is, it's a little bit of a funny topic to talk with patients on, but the benefit to some bodies or everybody is significant, okay? So I'm going to just give you a little anatomy lesson here. There's this thing called the liver, okay? And we eat things and the toxins go in from the top of the liver, and the liver filters it, and then eventually it's put into the bowel and you pass it through bowel movements, okay? And so, but the liver is kind of like this long comma-shaped organ. And that literally through gravity, the base of the liver starts filling up with the toxins. And so when we try to detoxify the liver, we're trying to detoxify from the top when actually the base of the liver is full of stuff. How can we get to the base of the liver to detoxify it faster? Enemas. That's what that happens there. The straight enema is good, but a coffee enema is a whole different world, okay? There's these things called the hemorrhoidal arteries. They're arteries that wrap around your bowel, the very base of it down there, and mesenteric arteries. And that's basically this, there's a whole bunch of layers of tissue all around your organs called mesentery, okay? And so there's arteries that work with all that, but they wrap around the bowel. And when a patient would do a coffee enema, there's a chemical in the coffee. It's not the caffeine or anything else like that. There's actually palmolic acid that the body uses that easily goes through these arteries to the base of the liver, and it converts into what's called glutathione, which is a detoxifier, if you want to think that way. But it's a wonderful thing for the body, and it helps detoxify the base of the liver rapidly. That can be a game changer for a lot of patients with their chronic conditions. And so a coffee enema is a great thing. It's kind of interesting, a little background when you hear about where enemas came from. They actually been around for centuries, but when they really came to light, I think it was World War One. Don't hold me to this. I didn't get to pull up all the data I wanted to before I do this, but during World War One, these poor infantrymen would get, shelled or shot or something, brought to these hospitals. They're suffering in terrible pain, and some of these field army situations would be running out of supplies, and they wouldn't have painkillers for these poor individuals suffering from these war wounds. And so the nurses, anything they could do, they would give them enemas, trying to help with the pain level. And they were running out of supplies to put in the enemas, so they, out of desperation, they dumped coffee in there. And they found out that the pain level of these injured soldiers went down significantly. And so later on the science followed, but that's really how it initiated, that the pain levels reduced tremendously, but the detoxification effect was later found out. It's a wonderful thing. So the top thing is, let's not make the organs toxic by choice, okay? So we're trying to always steer patients towards whole foods, organic foods, better quality water, keep your environment you live in as clean as you can, meaning like, we want airborne stuff in there, you want fresh air in, keep exercising, moving is great stuff. And then on top of that, sometimes organs are that congested and that beat up, and that coffee enema can be a great thing. So, so most common organs under stress, I see organs of detoxification: liver, kidney, bowel. Coffee enemas, absolutely. I think everyone would benefit, but some bodies, it would be a game changer for them immediately. So it's pretty neat. So I want to keep those questions coming. We want to answer as many as possible. With all our different practitioners, like to address those questions. So we'd like to keep that going. And I'm going to just share something just briefly here. Here's one of our practitioners. This is Emily. She's going to do a wellness walk. I don't know if that's the right spelling, or if it's backwards in your screen, it is mine. But she's doing a wellness walk. And what she's doing during the wellness walk is that you get out, take a nice hike with her on a Saturday morning, Saturday, June 25th at 8:30 a.m. Early riser, guys, so get out there. You get health coaching tips given throughout this walk. Okay? You get to experience nature, which is right here in Oakdale, which is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal trail if you've been on it. And then actually it's a sense of community with everyone involved with it. We get to share among each other. So this is Emily's third walk. They're great. They've been well received. We'd love you to join us with that. Feel free to contact our clinic. Our number is 651-771-1703 if you'd like to learn more about the walk or like to register for the walk. Or you can always email us at info@nutritionchiropractic.com. Okay, so that'd be great. We'd love to hear from you. We're doing these doing these live presentations every Thursday during the summer months, June, July, August. Typically they're on Fridays for the rest of the year, but during the summer months, we're on Thursdays. That's great. Thank you for joining me. This is great. If you have more questions, absolutely send them in. We'd love to help you with that. Nice seeing everybody. Have a great lunch. Bye now.